Welcome back to Drift Delvers. It is episode 4. You're gonna count them every time.
Already?
Every time. So we're at 4. It's already 4.
Just in case somebody clicks and
Did
they mean to click some other episode.
Or what? Are we level 2 yet?
No, not quite.
Okay,
not
all right. I'll keep asking every episode until we level up to 2 then.
Been through half a fight. Yeah, are we level 2 yet?
Just really ready for that level 2, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get out of this level 1
We've been through a lot of
blues.
experiences, so I feel like it's warranted.
It just seems like now's a good time.
I hear you, and I would think that maybe you'd have a point, but it's also not the right time.
Okay.
You know, it's just not the right time. You know.
Right.
Well, I'll check back next week.
Yeah, maybe
and
next
we'll see if
episode's
things have changed, you know?
All right, we'll kill the alternate universe versions of ourselves,
Yeah,
and that
if-
should get us a level up, right?
If I slay
We'll
Shadow Seun in single combat, can I...
Oh, you think that they're shadow versions?
Vescarium saying.
That's
wait,
a bold
are
statement.
they?
Yeah.
Are they Vest, though?
Well,
No,
they
they're
look
not
like
Vest.
you, but they are Vescarium.
Owned, right? Like the
Like-
Vescarium conquered the Pact Worlds is what we're
Right.
thinking.
Right, okay.
So for the banter, I got
Yeah.
This is a strange one, but we're in a strange situation. So, would you rather have every traffic light turn green, or always have the best parking spot?
Every
Like
traffic
forever?
light turned green. Easy.
Yeah, every light turned green. It's just so much more benefit.
Best parking spot.
Okay, so we have a dissenter here. Why is best parking spot better than always getting the green light?
Because I don't have to spend as much time in the sweltering Mississippi summer getting back to my car because I have the best parking spot. You know, I'm at Walmart,
pretty
boom,
good.
right at the front.
That's pretty good
I'm at
reason.
work, right at the front. You know, wherever I want to be, that's whatever I consider as
I mean,
best.
the difference
there it
between
is.
15 feet and 70 feet is a drenched shirt during
Yeah.
the summer. You know what I mean? Like, that's true statement.
Yeah.
And think about
All
like
right,
concerts and other venues, like boom, right there.
There is value in that. I'm not going to take that. I really
I didn't
can't
even
fault
think
you
about
on that.
concert or festivals. Like, you would also have the best parking spot at Bonnaroo. You would have
So,
the
but
best.
the thing about that is, though, you're just guaranteeing that you have a good spot reserved. You still have to go through the traffic of large events to
Right,
get to that spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know?
whatever. You're gonna have to do that anyway. But now I've got my shit set up right by the fucking concert grounds. I got my shit set up right by work. You know, like, I mean,
Let me tell you, I'm
go.
just going to give you my anecdotal experience.
Okay.
Every day, I have, my commute to and from work should be about 15 minutes, okay? If I hit every light, it's 15 minutes. If I get caught at one light,
It's
the
all-
way they're spaced out,
Yeah, it's all-
I get
it's all-
caught at every single light.
Yeah.
And my commute suddenly becomes 30 minutes. Dude, I'll blow a hard yellow because if I get caught, I'm late. You know what I mean?
Right.
If I'm pushing it on time, if I get caught, I am late. So for me, the value of never being late to work because I got stuck at one freaking light far outstrips that of getting primo parking everywhere I go.
Yeah, good point. And think about like road trips, how much time that'll save.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
You're
man.
on the interstate.
Yeah, you're on the
Yeah,
interstate.
I
so
got
I
it.
know.
You
yeah.
gotta go through cities. You gotta go.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah,
usually on
drive
the
through
outskirts of
Atlanta,
cities.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're on the way from Mississippi to, like, if you got to go through Atlanta somewhere else in Georgia, like, having that in Atlanta would be amazing.
Well, yeah, having green lights in a major
Think about
city
driving through
is-
New Orleans with all greens, dude.
That doesn't
still
matter.
Can't go,
It doesn't
matter. One, you still have to check every intersection because somebody's going to go run that red light. Two, you think you can just drive through an intersection here without having to go around a giant fucking hole in the road? No. It's just, you know.
That's a real
There's
answer right
no
there.
good answer for the New Orleans
I
situation.
think
You know what I
People
mean?
will,
in
just-
New Orleans, I think the parking spot is more valuable.
Parking spot's
Parking
way
spot
better.
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, way
Absolutely.
better.
And just think,
Yeah, if you're not leaving New Orleans, parking spot all day.
yeah.
Well, I mean, for me as a musician, dude, I want that good parking spot for the gigs. So I don't have to haul my shit
Yeah.
3 blocks,
Shit,
you know?
dude.
And just
Well,
think if you live in an
a lot of
RV, either one is like golden. Like, that'd be great.
If you live in an RV, you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
True. I'll give you that much, man.
I
That van
didn't,
life, you know?
I didn't actually weigh in yet, but I'm very much team green light because my commute is 40 minutes.
Right.
And like a one bad light will make me late and I hate it. And to your point about yellows, what is the line? Because like I feel like I'm definitely on the more illegal side of my perspective to yellow lights. Like I probably run more red lights than I should because I'm like, well, it was yellow still at the point of no return, you know, where I
It
couldn't
was yellow.
possibly
I
stop.
saw it turn yellow, so I get to go through it. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
Like-
Exactly.
This is probably bad, okay? This is probably I wouldn't say
Kids,
to
don't
follow
do
this
this.
advice.
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, when I cross the line, right? When the back of my car is over the line and it's still yellow, it's fair game, baby. I'm
Good to go.
and I'm blowing through that thing too. I'm hoofing it. And
Right.
I don't that's not always. But if I'm trying to get to work, and again, I know that if I get stuck
You're
at
gonna blow
one
through the
light, I'm gonna get stuck at every single freaking light. Yeah, I'm blowing through that. Now when I'm
That
coming home
sucks.
from work, or if I'm on lunch, I'm gonna stop at the yellow. I'm gonna chill. But if I've got somewhere that I've got to be, where being late could fuck with my career, then you know.
Yeah, well, that's the nature of the game, right? Like, it's easy to drive safe when there's zero pressure.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But like when there's pressure, like I know yeah, kids don't do this. I am very
Owen,
bad
we're
about.
talking to you. Don't do
Owen,
this.
don't drive
do
like
this.
me. I like to think I'm a very good driver in terms of the skill of driving. I'm bad with directions, but like yellow lights, like I will significantly speed up to get through a yellow light.
Sure.
Like I don't care. I will just floor it and be like, I'm not gonna stop here. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, look, in New Orleans, you can expect probably 3 cars to come behind through the yellow light, through the red light.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Right.
you know, like they
Yes.
just keep going. It's just
Yeah.
okay, you know. I mean, I was like literally sitting next to a police officer today. The dude stopped at the red light. I saw him look around and then just say, "Bleh," and he just went. Like, didn't even like do his lights or
Dude,
anything. He was just like,
dude.
I'm doing it. I'm a cop. I'm gonna go. You know.
The other day, I was coming home from work, and there was traffic. I watched this cop at 2 different lights be just cruising, and then he get to the light, his blues came on until he just went through the intersection, and then he cruised on, and then I saw his ass do it again at the next light, and then as soon as he got to the intersection, he turned his light off. So it's like, bruh, I know that you did not just get
You
a
weren't
call that you
responding
had
to
to
an
run
emergency.
to.
Yeah.
You just
Right.
didn't want to sit at the light like the rest of us plebs. But if any one of us had run that red, you'd have been all too happy to write us a fucking overpriced ticket. And it's the hypocrisy for me, dog. You know what I mean?
Oh, we triggered him, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We got him. We got him.
Yeah, I'm fired up, dude.
Oh, I feel it too. I feel it too.
I hate cop hypocrisy. Like if you got a standard and we all have to follow that standard, that's one thing. But there's not 2 sets of rules on the road, bro.
Right.
That's all.
No, I'm fully with you, and this is why. Recently, you're almost not gonna believe me because it's such a cop stereotype. But I was coming home from work in Petal, and a cop like way behind me. Like I see him coming up. He's got his lights, whatever. And it, was cruising. Looked like I was like, oh, this is an emergency, right? And so it was like a more, 1 lane sort of rural-ish road. So I just pulled over and just let him blow past me, right? and it was coming into the town, right? So I let him get past me. I get back on the road, and I go on my merry way, and I turned, and then I passed the donut shop / drugstore that's in the town, and that cop had emergency blued all the way through Petal to go to the donut store, and he wasn't like arresting someone. He literally was just like, I'm gonna make this seem like an emergency so I can go get some donut holes.
He just wanted that last eclair. He wanted that last eclair. That's all he wanted.
And
He's
I was
gonna
like,
take those
you
crawlers into custody.
sack of turds.
What a
You're the
piece of
problem.
shit, man. What a piece of shit.
Okay, speaking of turds, potential pieces of shit, we have your...
Our own characters.
You have your own characters to face off. Yeah, so at the end of last episode, you were approached by a ship that looked like your old ship, the Marana. It registered as the Marana. You're in orbit of Akaton, but Akaton is registering as Galarian 3. They're all speaking Vesk, and the crew of the Marana that is approaching you hails you. You pull them up on the communication screen, and you see copies of yourselves looking back at you. And I will say, though, that they all look much more like rugged and battle worn. There's like scars. Like there's a big scar across the eye of Raya. You know, Subana, instead of wearing like olive lab coat, is wearing like olive armor, you know, like Veskarium armor. And she is kind of in the position of like she's up front and the other three are behind her on this view screen. Sayun has like 2 cybernetic arms, and both of them are like dinged up and scratched up. They're not like shiny. They, you know, and Gil is just solid gray hair, gray skin. Yeah, gray hair, gray skin.
Gil is now a kobold. He's a tiny lizard.
Just a kobold. Yeah.
Is Tooth also there? Does he have like a scar over it?
Also a kobold, ironically enough.
Yeah. So you don't see a tooth present, but you might assume that there is one. Anyway, they hail you, and that you see shock on their face too.
Right.
When they see all of you, you know, and there's this weird kind of feeling and maybe this awkward silence as that initially happens. I want to ask each of you what you're thinking in your head when you see this before we get into the conversation. So we'll start with you, Gil. What you know, you see yourself, but like how you looked before the drift crash happened. And scarred up and like a little bit more muscular and in armor, you know.
Much like me right now, Gil would be feeling just dumbfounded and like out of his depth. Like this is something he never in his wildest dreams would expect to experience. He's thinking to himself, we need to go. You know, we need to get out of here. He's even thinking like, well, let's engage this engine again and see what happens, you know? Because this is not a situation where like we just like, oh, you're me. I'm you. Let's split up and go our merry ways. Like this is bad, you know? And he's just kind of like shaking and almost stammering, you know, you know? So that's what he's thinking. That's what you asked. So that's what he's thinking.
Okay, what about, let's go with Raya.
Raya is... She is once again, in the last 10 minutes or maybe an hour, for the 3rd time questioning her sanity, and is like, maybe something in my brain broke, right? Like all these crazy things can't be happening one after the other. Like I started turning into a dragon person. I grew a tail, which I think is still there currently. I saw Tooth, and like she had to question, like, is this real? Is this a hologram? Am I seeing fairies floating on people's heads? And now sees alternate universe or timeline versions of myself and all my friends, and legitimately for a minute has to be like, nope, I've done it. I've broken my brain. I'm crazy now. And like has to just like get back to a state of like, okay, well, I'd imagine she blinks a few times and trying to will it away, just like, like, go away. This isn't real. This isn't real. Like trying to wake yourself up from a nightmare kind of thing. And when it doesn't, after a few blinks, it's like, okay, we got to just deal with what's in front of us. But then at the same time is wrestling with this emotion of like, but I've got a lot of shit going on right now that I really need to deal with internally. So really not in the best headspace to like diplomatically try to de-escalate this situation,
It's funny because I think Subhana has just kind of been thrust into the communicator role, which is, and so I'll get to you in a minute, John, because you are going to be the communicator here.
Well, you speak Vesk,
Right. Sayun, what are you
Okay.
thinking?
So here's the thing, man. If y'all recall in the Starfinder lore, Kasathas were seeded by witchweirds, who themselves deal in multiple planes, realities, dimensions, all of that. You know what I mean? And then with Sayun's own personal history, he has experience under the tutelage of someone who did the same. And so I don't want to say like, oh, this is no big deal, or maybe I should be shocked or something, but in my mind, Sayun is like, all these pieces are falling into place, and he is thoroughly convinced that we have stumbled into an alternate timeline. You know, and like for him, that is a level of knowledge about the nature of the universe that he has had for a long time, And so he's like, I mean, this sucks. It's like, okay, how do we get home? How do we get home? This is not ideally where we would want to be, but he's not like, his brain is not breaking, is what I'm saying. Pieces are clicking into place for him.
Sure. All right, so that brings us to Subhana, who you're looking at the screen and you realize that you are going to have to talk to the other version of yourself. And wait, what are you thinking? How are you feeling?
She is familiar with the geopolitics of her own timeline, and she understands that hardliners of her own timeline's Veskarium Empire were tempered by more reasonable minds. And she herself, an academic, is looking through this view screen, seeing a counterpart of her who is much more militaristic, and probably seeing a stern face. And she kind of feels a lump in her throat as if she was caught somehow, and I think it's because of her own natural senses, maybe even preternatural, telling her that this is not going to end with a favorable result for us. And she's thinking that in her mind because of what she knows about her own Veskarium Empire.
Sure.
And so now it seems like it's a power game. Who's going to speak first?
I will, if you don't.
I want to
sounds like some treasonous talk to me, John.
Well, they are the ones that
it's a
approached
smart
us.
move to hear what they have to say.
They're the ones that approached us.
Correct.
Yeah, they
correct.
did. This is the Marana. My name is Subhana, and I don't know what you have going on over there, but it is an insult to us. Is this some sort of holographic prank that you are pulling on all of us?
This is the Primarana, and I can assure you that this is not a joke. This is not any kind of holographic prank. I'm just going to be blunt with you. We have traversed through what appears to be an alternate universe, and
that's impossible.
well, how do you explain us? And she's
I don't know. I think that perhaps a face-to-face meeting might make things a little bit easier. Okay, at this point, I want somebody, anybody, all of you, to roll either a computers or a life science if you're able to.
Gilderon sneaks over there by the computers.
let's see here.
I got life science. I got life science.
Yeah, life science
Too
as
busy
well.
trying to get rid of my tail. You know?
It ain't much. Ooh, that's a dirty 10 on that.
It's not great.
No.
That's a 21 for
Okay,
computers.
that's much better. Yeah, okay.
17.
All right, so Subhana, the more that you're talking and seeing this, you definitely confirm that these are like biologically the same as you,
Right.
like biological twins of yourselves. Gilderon, as you're doing a little bit more in-depth scan with the computers, you detect a difference in the quantum signature of the Marana and its crew, suggesting that this is indeed a parallel universe, as every physical object from a given universe carries the same quantum signature. Parallel universes are an obscure research field in the Pact Worlds, but to Zach's point about Sayun, any Witchwarper character just flat out knows that they exist. So since you studied under a very high level Witchwarper, you also are aware. So yeah, you do feel like you can confirm that you are in a parallel universe, although you also kind of understand that that's not something that's just going to be taken at face value, right? Like they are skeptical of what you're saying, and so they just say, yes, I think a face-to-face meeting would be better, and seeing as your ship is larger and can house more people, perhaps we should do it on your ship, and you might feel more comfortable in your space.
Are they all speaking Vesk, by the way?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, yes.
I don't know what the fuck's
yeah,
happening.
if you don't speak Vesk, you can't understand either Subhana or Subhana.
I do speak Vesk. Yes.
Excuse me, either Subhana or Tubana.
Yeah.
Fuck, I took Akatonian for my third language.
Oh, so close.
Damn.
So Subhana and Gilderon understands.
All
Okay,
right.
Gilderon knows Vesk.
Yes.
So you're okay. You're tracking this.
Perfect.
So what do you say?
Immediately, her. I mean, like, if her scales almost shrink at this, just like this idea, because as soon as they get on, she has a feeling that they are going to. This is going to be a typical boarding procedure. She is going to. They are going to take her in. So.
Well, one thing to consider is that you have more people on your ship, so you have higher numbers of people, for whatever that's worth. Now, not everybody's a combatant, of course, but and it is your ship, so you have a little bit of control of the dynamic, I guess.
Right. Part of me wants to just say, like, no, you cannot board at all. But okay, we would like to take a moment to convene with my crew.
Do not take too long.
All right.
But she nods
Okay. All right.
and starts like looking at her watch.
All right. And flip the view screen off and mute. Yep.
Don't leave it live.
So like, what's happening? I don't speak Vesk.
Right. So I explained to them that we are in a bit of a conundrum as far as a universe situation, an alternate universe situation. They didn't really take kindly to that. They want to board our ship in a what they say is for our own benefit. But I have my own misgivings about that. That being said, if we have a way that we can prepare in the eventuality that we have to let them on this ship, we should probably make those preparations.
I mean, I for one don't think we should let them on at all. You saw them. They're covered with scars. They're gruff. Everything's Vesk around here.
They're all armored.
I mean, I'm armored.
Yeah, so are all of you. If I'm looking at you, and you're all.
I mean, look.
I'm just thinking about Tubana, you know.
This is
Tubana.
a lot, and I understand that, but I try to live my life giving people the benefit of the doubt. And the thing is, yes, alternate universe or whatever, but these people are us. These people are you. I trust you. Let's give them a chance, and if we need to space them, we can.
Sayun, say your piece before we make our decision.
It's difficult. If that were me on that ship, from my own timeline, we could easily explain this misunderstanding. But I do not know what sort of life this Sayun has lived. Perhaps our experiences are quite different. He may not understand the reality of the situation that we are facing, the alternate reality, if I might add.
Well, I mean, look. We at least now have some understanding, right, of this new ship drive, whatever you called it, signal chaos drive. It's functional, correct?
Yeah, to my understanding, absolutely.
All right, so I can't know this, but I seriously doubt that they want to come aboard just to wholesale murder us. They're curious, because I would be curious. We're all curious how this could happen. We just know that we've been through some anomaly, right?
Right.
So, worst case scenario is they come on, they assess us, whether they believe us or not. If this is Vesk-controlled space, then maybe they want to take us to whatever Vesk leaders they have to further suss it out. Not that I want to go and meet with the Vesk leaders, but if we need to, we can just use this new drive and we'll abscond with them.
We do have a way to...
I'm more scared of Vesk government and political control than I am of this party of us.
Raya has a point.
That is fair. That is fair. We stand a better chance arguing with ourselves, no pun intended, than
The
we
signal
do.
light starts flashing again.
I mean, before we answer, the computer readouts of the Marana confirm that it's a alternate reality. The frequencies of the objects are completely off. We can share this data.
We can
confirm that we are who we say we are. They can run scans as well.
So
Very
can
well
we
then.
share this telemetry to the? Well, actually, yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. We got information. So
I mean, we can share anything. It just comes down to will they believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
fine.
I was asking
Let's
the
get
question
it.
that I knew
We've
I was gonna
deliberated
get.
long enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, gonna go ahead and all right, and hits the button, unmute, and view screen back on.
You have taken your time Now that's rude where I come from. Have you made a decision?
Well, that's my apologies. What I would
Bless
like
your
to...
fucking heart.
All right. Sheesh. I do want to say we would like to share some of our telemetry data that we've gathered based on our travels. And
My proposal is that my team and your team gets together. We go over this. We figure this out face to face. It can be difficult to read and sense each other's feelings and tones through this type of conversation.
all right. Well,
Now, something odd is happening here.
That's fair.
That much I understand. You know,
that's
I did not expect to see myself talking back, although a much weaker and less stout version of myself, I must say. But yes, we'll come over, we'll share what information we have, and you can share what information you have.
all right.
We have an accord?
Only if we can set some ground rules. This is our ship,
Fine.
so
What is it?
first off, leave your arms.
That is unacceptable, as you may or may not know. In this, where we're from, everybody stays armed at all times. It is a constant state of warfare and self-defense at all times, and that there in itself suggests to me that you are from a weaker universe. We will not become an unarmed. Now, we will make promises not to engage in violence if you do not engage in violence with us. But to ask us to lay down our arms is like asking us to take our heart out of our chest.
Secondly,
What? So where are we at on the first one, though?
we'll go ahead. We'll table that for right now. But the second thing,
No, see, I think we need to go ahead and decide this because we're making the decision now, are we not? I mean, God, do these people waste some fucking time, don't they? Listen, we want to come over there and we want to share information.
Yes.
We're taking our weapons. Is that okay? You can have your weapons too. I would expect you to.
as long as you may stay in the cordoned off to the sections that we allow you in, and that is it.
Fine.
You are all
Fine.
going to be in the same room, and that is it. You have
Okay.
no free roaming privileges.
All right, I can't wait to hear your second term.
That's the second term.
Oh, that's the second term. Okay, fine.
All right, we'll go ahead and send off our
Oh,
open
shit.
doors.
Pull up your scans right now. There's another ship coming this way.
We
All
do
right. Yeah, go ahead. Do that.
that. What's on the
My
scale?
gods.
And you see coming towards you is the telltale emerald green hull of an Aslanti starship.
Oh
Get away, man.
Yes. And so they're like, listen, let's take this out together. That is a tough ship. We're going to have to work together on this. Out. And she goes ahead and closes the things. They're getting to work.
That's immediately much more of a favorable situation. Immediately, yes.
I mean, we don't really have a choice. Like, here's the thing. I don't know what everybody else knows about the Aslanti, but
Give us a little rundown, Zach, for
no,
new
they're space
listeners.
Nazis. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. There
I
he
don't know
is.
that they're better than the Vest. Well, I mean,
It's like Klingons
there are-
versus the Romulans.
The,
you know?
the Beskarium and the Aslanti are both very problematic warlike cultures.
Yeah.
Right? But the Aslanti are intentionally designed to be space Nazis by the designers of the game. So, like, of the two, I'll fucking take the Beskarium, even though they are also warlike and shitty.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I feel the same way.
yeah. So I feel like the enemy of my enemy.
Right.
my
That's
friend.
kind of the
Is my friend.
situation.
Absolutely.
Prevents me from getting killed by mirror versions of
The
myself.
enemy of myself in an alternate timeline is my friend.
Yes, absolutely.
The friend of myself is my friend in other universes where two of me can exist.
Okay. All right. My brain is coming out of my ears. We need to stop.
No, this is a much better situation. Absolutely. We
so
have
we-
bargaining
I-
power now.
We're on the bridge. We
You're
take a
ready to
seat.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
All right,
are.
But before that, I want to give John a inspiration because being thrust into the face of this party is not something that John signed up for or expected, and yet here we are. So give me a D6 roll, please.
Okay, D6 roll. That is a number 6.
Oh, so that's going to be a personal. I love it.
Nice, okay.
All right, so John, there's only one personal for you, John, so you don't have to roll on this. Hey, guys, if you're listening to this, send in some inspirations. All right,
Thank you.
So this is from Shan, just shenanigans.
Hey, Shan.
All right. Okay, Shan, this is it then. All right. May your need meters be maxed. May your bool props be set to true, and may your pools always have a ladder.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right, thank you, Shan.
Thank you.
So go ahead and
May
take...
your samoflams properly carburate.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you so much.
So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and take that inspiration, and then you guys get into position for Starship Combat. And we're going to do Starship Combat a little differently on this show than we have in the past. We're going to try out the Starfinder Enhanced Narrative Combat Starship Combat rules.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned on the show, but we're really trying to feature some of the content of Starfinder Enhanced because it adds like a lot of extra stuff to the system, and so this is one of those things. So I've created a handout for you guys in Foundry that I'll show you now. Okay, and so there's a little rules overview, and then there are tabs for each Starship role and the actions that you can take. And so the rules overview of narrative Starship Combat is that it takes place over a series of rounds which you try to destroy or disable one or more enemy starships. Each round I will choose what's called a tactic. It's like a one move thing that I choose for my enemy ship, which might affect the actions that the PCs take. Okay? Then each of you will take an action related to the role that you choose at the beginning of each round. You can move between roles. The roles are Captain, Chief Mate, Engineer, Gunner, Magic Officer, Pilot, and Science Officer. You then take an action. There's several actions under each of those that you can take, and will most often prompt a skill check or an attack roll. Then the enemy forces will take a number of hits based on the number of skill checks that you succeed at. So it's really, you roll a skill check that gives you a point. Boom. That's all we do. It's just like a single hit. The combat ends when the enemy forces take a certain number of hits or when the PCs take a certain number of hits. All right. So for the first one, the standard hits is 5 each. So the first person to take 5 hits loses. Their ship gets disabled. Now we're adding in a little extra here because we have the Veskarium Marauda, and they're going to give you some bonuses. Okay? So if anybody makes an attack, you're going to get a +2 representing the Marauda's coordinated assault on the Aslanti vessel. So gunners, your actions will get a +2. All right? Because there are multiple targets for you, you know, there's the Marauda and the pre-Marauda, right? We're going to roll a d6. On a odd result, the Veskarium Marauda gets hit. On an even result, you guys get hit. Okay?
Okay.
We following, tracking so far? So let's go through what roles do you think that your characters are going to be in here?
I think say
I will say that Walter will take the role of pilot. Pilot.
He better fucking not.
Pilot.
I'll knock his ass out with the butt of my gun.
Oh, I've seen your blood. Yeah, no, he'll handle the pilot actions for you.
Okay. Sayan will gun.
Okay. Dustin, what do you think?
Gilderon is the engineer.
Okay, great. What about you, Heath? What's Ray going to do?
I don't fucking know. I'm going to be bad at all of these.
Well, okay, so it's a little different than Starship Combat was originally. There's multiple different skills that you can roll for each of these roles, or these Starship roles. So, like, for instance, a captain can do some things with piloting and stealth, or they can do some stuff with they can use any skill to give orders. It's a much more broad, so you're not so locked in based on your skill spread. You know what I mean? So it's more like, what kind of vibe do you think they'll fill?
I mean, give me a second, because I had no time to look over this today at all. And I'm just like looking through it now, and it's like, okay, well, like captain, right? Like, okay, there's piloting profession, captain, stealth. One of them has culture, diplomacy, intimidate. Like, there's like maybe one action for each role that I'll be half-ass good at, because as an evolutionist, I'm good at like 4 things, and one of them's perception. You know, like I have athletics, survival, mysticism, but I have 0 fucking magic, so magic officer's right out.
So chief mate might be a good role for you.
Yeah, there's 1 thing on chief mate that I can do.
3 things that you can do with athletics.
There you go.
Oh, okay, the second one, you can't do athletics, so deride enemy ship is like yelling at them, I guess. So some of them are any, you can do any skill in the world?
Right, like,
nice.
So
Okay.
just like, don't stress it too much, I guess. The point is to make this a little bit more inclusive of all the characters, to get away from that only the pilot and gunner does anything kind of feel of, you know what I'm saying? And like, so what, you know, chief mate looks like a possibly good fit, you know, science officer maybe, or, you know.
No, I mean, I have no science skills.
All right, so let's say let's try.
All my science is through the channel of mysticism.
So
know?
let's try on chief mate and see how you do with chief mate. You know?
Sure.
Heath, come on, man. What do you want to do?
I don't want to do any of them, because, like, I mean, not that I don't want to play the game, but like, none of them like speak to me for the character, because like, she's fucking scientist and evolutionist. Like, I don't. Like, none of these feel like roles that she has, so it's like whichever one has the most. I know it's supposed to be more inclusive, but it really comes down to like, okay, which one has a skill I can use? So chief mate's like kind of the only option.
I mean, it seems like magic officer is good, but yeah, like you said, you didn't have any magic
but like,
skills. You do have
that's
good
the
mysticism.
annoying thing about evolutionist is like there's a shitload of mysticism across all the specs, and you have and magic is even infused into the explanations of some of them, but you are not a caster. Like, you're not a magic user at all. So that's just frustrating. Like, I mean, it's just limiting. Like, I can be a chief mate. Like, I can't pilot. I can't do any diplomacy skills at all. I can't engineer. So I mean, it's chief mate or nothing. So that's fine. We'll be chief mate.
All right, cool. Sayun, you said you're going to be gunner. John, what is Subana going to do?
Subana's going to take the role of science officer for now,
Okay.
until other necessities are prioritized. So.
All right, cool. Well, let's give this a shot, shall we? We'll
Let's do
see
it.
how we do here. Give it a little bit of deal. So you guys are in the, like, topmost atmosphere, I guess, of Akaton, right? And you got the 2 ships, and here comes the Aslanti ship towards you guys. So we go through rounds here, right? I pick my tactic first. All right, so I got what I'm going to do. It doesn't really affect your skills, so we'll just go down the line. Dustin, what action are you going to take for round 1?
All right. Gil gets down on the, I guess the engineering station, you know, and he starts diverting power from other systems that aren't needed, and starts diverting them to systems more, you know, attuned to battle. So he's going to take the overpower systems engineer action. So I'm going to roll computers for this. Choose an enemy starship and attempt a skill check against the ship's DC. If you succeed, you gain 1 skill check success toward the enemy ship's threshold. If the result of the check exceeds the DC by 5 or more, it counts as 2 successes.
All right. Well, let's get that roll.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. All right. Aslanti scum, you're going down. Here we go. All right. And that is a 16.
Ooh, that is a... Oh, no, that is a success. Ooh. Okay. It's a single success because it did not exceed the DC by 5 or more. But that is one success. All right, so that is technically one hit. I'll go ahead and get Walter's out of the way here. Walter is going to do his best to outmaneuver. All right. Let's see how I do. Ooh, that's not good with an 8. So is not able to outmaneuver this sleek Aslanti ship as it comes into firing range. Heath, what is Raya going to do as the chief mate?
So a lot of the things that chief mate can do are based on doing them before an ally does something, right? So I could have done something before Gil, but I think I want to do maximize crew efficiency.
Okay.
So I'd choose an allied crew member who has not taken a crew action this round. Attempt a skill check against your ship's hard DC. If you succeed the next time this round, that allied crew member succeeds at an action that grants skill successes, the number of skill check successes that action grants is doubled.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so I guess you'll do that for John's turn, right? Since Dustin's already acted, right? Or do you just want to apply that to get the double?
Well, I was wondering, would it be better to do it for the gunner?
Well, but it's the gunner doesn't roll a skill check.
But it's just skill check?
Yeah.
The gunner
success?
does
Okay.
roll a skill check.
Oh, I thought it was an attack.
You can do, the move I'm going to do, I can do with acrobatics, piloting, or ranged attack.
Oh, sweet. So yeah, you can apply that to the gunner then.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, then, so, I think, once we get into this situation, Raya, I think thus far, we're all, know each other relatively through the job kind of thing, but as far as the chaos and stress of what's going on, Sayun was the one there to deal with when Raya was going through some traumatic stuff, so I feel like she feels a little connected to him and comes over and tries to encourage him. Now this one says I can use any skill, right?
Yeah, sure. All right.
So I would like to, I'm not a caster, but I have mysticism, and so I feel like there's some kind of bond there because we both saw that each other were manipulated somehow by this, it's kind of like a not a soul bond kind of thing, but there's a link there somehow mentally or spiritually, right?
Okay, I can dig it. So it's going to be against your ship's hard DC, which is 17. Your regular DC is 12, and your hard DC is 17.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know what the DC was. When I was reading it and I saw hard DC, I was like, oh, I'm making a mistake, but we'll see. Okay, that's actually pretty good. 23?
All right, well, that is a success. So that means that when the gunner goes, if they get a success, it will count for 2 successes. You could spend a resolve point here if you'd like. I know we're low on resolve early level, but just to put that out there, for 1 resolve point, you could give that gunner check a +2.
Yeah, it would give them a +2 on the skill check on their next action. So, yeah we'll go ahead and she's kind of vulnerable right now and is just trying to link to somebody and help in any way that she can. So she's trying to encourage Sayun to get this done. So I'm going to spin the resolve and everything.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we come to you, Sayun.
Okay.
Oh, actually, before you do, I'm sorry, but I have something that's going to benefit you as well.
Okay, great.
Y'all
Go ahead.
pump me up, man.
Yeah.
Stock them up, bro.
Well, okay, so I can either go with the defensive or the offensive action. And since I'm paired up with a Vescarium, obviously going to go with the offensive action. I need to prove, we need to prove to them that we are capable here. So I am going to go with the target system, which using the ship's weapons, you target a specific system of an enemy ship. Okay? So you get to choose an enemy starship and attempt to skill check against that ship's hard DC. And if I succeed, then if that ship takes at least 1 hit this round, it takes an additional hit.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay? And as a resolve point, this actually also counts as a skill check success. So I'm going to go ahead and also spend a resolve point on it too.
So hold off on resolve.
Okay.
Because you don't want to spend that resolve until you know that you succeeded.
Oh,
at the
fair.
initial.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if you could. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So you're going to roll against the ship's hard DC. So what skill are you going to use?
I'm going to use physical science. Okay.
Like it. I can
Makes
dig
sense.
it.
Makes
All right.
sense.
All right. Let's
All
see
right.
here. For a 2 on the die for a total of 10.
Okay, so that's not going to get it. It's not going to get it. You know, you try, and you just, but you just can't lock on to the Aslantes systems. They have too much of a kind of shield against their systems. However, Sayun is kind of motivated by the bond that he now has with Raya, and is going to take this shot to prove your might to the Veskarian versions of yourself.
Sayun kind of swallows his pride.
Prove to us that we deserve this, you know?
Yeah, Sayun's got to swallow his pride a little bit because, you know, shooting these ranged weapons, you know, it's not kosher exactly in, you know, Kasathan culture, but he's got pretty good hand-eye coordination, so he feels like he can lock in on this one. So I will roll an acrobatics check for this fire at will. Okay, wait. I get a +2 to that, right? As well?
From Ryan,
From
yeah.
Ryan.
From
That
Ryan,
makes
yeah.
it a dirty 20 to hit the DC. And it's just this regular DC.
It's regular DC.
Yep. If you succeed, it's a skill check success. If the result exceeds 5, then it counts as 2.
Okay, it does exceed 5. So that shot goes through, hits the hull, and you see it come out the other side. You know, go right through the nose of the ship, and so there's 2 breach points now in the hull as it
Here's the
goes
thing.
through.
Actually,
4.
it's doubled.
It's
It's doubled
doubled.
because of me.
Right. So it's 4, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have 2 giant holes in the hull. You know, not just like shields damage. Like, you got through. That was like a just perfect shot. And there was a success from the engineer.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a potential of 5 hits here on this ship.
Wow.
Damn good shooting, Sayun.
That was damn good shooting.
Hell yeah.
All right, so it comes in at the same time with just an all-out attack. I basically make 2 shots against the hard DC of your ship, and if they succeed, you're going to take 2 hits.
Okay.
All right, so this one's going to be, well, let's first see who it's going to target. So it's we said odds is
The Veskarian
your
ship.
copy cells. Yep. All right, it's evens. That was a 6, so it's coming to your ship.
Okay.
All right, so here comes a couple attacks. Ooh, that's an 18 on the die, so that one's gonna hit. Here comes the second one. Okay, so a 17 does beat your hard DC.
Okay.
So that's 2 hits.
So you're going to take 2 hits. So it gets a shot off before your shot gets in, and 2 like little torpedoes come, boom, and like it's weird because the whole front of your ship is transparent, so you see these missiles coming at you, and they kind of explode on the outside, but they don't breach your hull. But like you kind of like shrink back as these explosions kind of wrap around the front of your ship, and you're at the same time your torpedo fires off, your blast fires off, and just cuts a hole right through their ship, and you hear on the communications the cheers of your counterparts, like, "Oh, they might have more strength than we thought," says somebody. That's not any of you. I don't know who.
It's a mirror version of their
That's Gilderon.
Morlamal.
That's Gilderon. That's how Gilderon sounds in this version. Okay, so you actually have them down
2
to
packs
1
a
hit
day
point.
over here.
So you guys are down 2. They're down 5. They only got 1 left. So let's do one more round of this. All right.
Okay.
I will choose a tactic. Let's see. Hold on.
All right, everyone, be the best versions of yourselves.
Oh, crap. I kind of messed up. Okay. So, enemy ships have a threshold that I didn't account for, because this is new for me too.
Sure.
So, what a threshold is like, it's basically like hardness, but with successes. So, you have to like get a certain amount of successes before a hit actually happens.
Registers.
Right, so they have a threshold of 2. So that means that only 3 hits got through instead of 5. Okay.
Still pretty
Gotcha.
good.
Which makes sense because I'm like, man, this could just eat through
One
enemies.
turn, yeah.
Right. But your ships do not have thresholds because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm only getting 1 action as
Right.
an enemy starship.
Yeah.
All right, so I am going to pick my tactic here. All right. It did not like that big hit that went through. So you see it kind of pull up and get in an evasive position. So we'll go back around. We'll start with Dustin again.
All right. Seeing that we just took a hit, and the systems, I imagine there's like a, little HUD on the screen showing our ship, and parts of it are like blinking red, And I'm like beep 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 beep, and I'm gonna patch the hull with a few quick repairs. You restore the ship's hull integrity. I'm gonna use engineering for this, obviously, and attempt a skill check against your ship's DC. If you succeed, the ship
DC.
regains 1 HP.
Beautiful. Great.
There, I'm gonna know. Here we go. Engineering. Get it. That's a 16.
Oh, it's regular.
Yes,
DC.
regular DC.
Okay.
That's good.
So that is a success. So you get 1. You are able to kind of patch up some of that transparent, like some little like nanobots. You're like figuring out the ship for the first time here. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this to patch up the shields, and like a couple little nanobots come out from some hidden compartment on the outside of your ship and run over and they start like welding, trying to patch up some of the cracks that were there in your hull. Mm-hmm. All right.
Can I spend a resolve
Chief
point?
Mate. Sure. What happens if we spend a resolve point?
I also increase your ship. Well, you also increase your ship's DC to the hard DC against enemy tactics next round. So it raises
okay.
our.
So next round.
Next
not this
round,
round.
though?
Next round we have 17-17 instead of 12-17.
That's actually good because you kind of got the idea that this round they're trying to evade, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. All right, Heath, Chief Engineer, Raya.
Okay, so I want to realign targeting systems. Now, this immediately made me imagine after the massive success of the gunnery phase last turn, where we got 4 shots off. I mean, some of that was getting through the threshold and not actually getting to hit the ship, but still, it's like blah 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 blah. These, I imagine, even if we don't have large guns by comparison to like other ships, it's still big guns in comparison to us.
Right.
So I just imagine that these 4 shots like somehow skew or kind of mess up the alignment of the guns, and instinctively Raya, I'm going to use athletics, but Raya sees that there's a mistake and kind of like had a hand on Sayun's shoulder trying to like hype him up, and then sees there's a problem and runs over to this like control panel where there's like some
like
I don't
an
know,
access panel, right?
like an access panel, and there's some like metallic rods or whatever in it, and she sees that one of them is bent, right? And I'm going to roll an athletics, and the effect, if it succeeds, is you choose an enemy starship, attempt a skill check against the ship's DC, not their hard DC.
Okay.
If you succeed, you gain 1 skill check success toward that ship's it's only towards threshold. So their threshold's gone, right?
No, it resets each time.
Oh,
Like,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it would be towards their threshold. If the result of the check exceeds the DC by 5 or more, it counts as 2 successes.
All right.
So she's
right.
kind of trying to take things into her own hands, but still in this way, kind of like narratively, like through Seiyun, like trying to fix his guns, you know?
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, cool.
I'm still trying to kind of learn this. I'm not sure we're doing threshold right, but that's all right. We're going to keep it as we are for now, and we'll revisit it the next time. All right, so that's you. You're going to roll that.
Yes.
All right.
So I rolled an 18 on the die, which is really nice, but I have a +5 to athletics instead of my +8 to mysticism, so it's a 23 total.
23 total is going to be a success for sure.
Okay. Is it by 5
it
or
is-
more?
It is, yes.
Nice. So then that's 2 skill check successes towards the ship's threshold.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Subana.
I'm going to try to target system again to help boost Seiyun's
All right.
capabilities. So that is going to be, again, a physical science check against that ship's hard DC, the enemies.
Yep.
Okay, 16 on the die for a total of 24.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So again, if I succeed, that ship will take. If it gets hit, it takes an additional hit. So.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So what's important is that you now have 2 successes. So the threshold
Has been met.
Has been met. So if you hit here, this will count as a
As 2.
as a hit. It'll count as 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got 2 threshold hits.
Okay.
Now at this point, John, Subana could spend a resolve to make this count as another success.
Right, but I was waiting to see if we actually hit to spin that resolve. Right? Is
No,
that how it
no.
works,
You do
or-
that. No, you do that now.
Okay.
On your
all right.
turn.
Then yeah.
This is
Then
a
I do
success
want to go
for
ahead
you.
and spin that resolve point. Then yes.
Great. All right. So you do that, and so you now have another success on the books, and so now we'll go to the gunner.
All right.
And get
So
your-
Seiyun knows that everybody is like, trying to work together to make sure that he can succeed in his task. So he focuses up. He closes one of his eyes and aims for that reticle and tries to thread that needle. Let's go
right.
with the
You can trust the reticle. I straightened out your guns.
Thank you very kindly, right? Do I get any bonuses on this? I don't remember
+2.
what it was. I get a +2?
I believe
Okay.
so. Wait.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah. I just thought it was just a normal hit. Okay.
All right. So this is going to be against hard DC this time because of the evasive maneuvers.
And that's a natural 2 in the dice. That's definitely going to miss.
Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, because they're taking evasive maneuvers, they are not firing this round. 1 hit goes through because of that resolve spin to get that 1 success beyond the 2 threshold. So that's another hit goes in on them. So they've now taken 4 hits.
Okay.
You guys have taken 2, but 1's been healed. So it's 1 to 4 for keeping track here. All right. So they only you got them on the ropes here. We're going to go to round 3 here, and I will choose my tactic, and we are going to. All right, we're going to just open fire on the ship.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
All right, so Gil.
Okay, so
Like it's Gil's turn.
Yeah,
Can I jump in there?
sure.
Okay, I'm just trying to get the whole gamut of Chief Mate and what it can do here. I want to try the other one that I have access to doing, which I hate that we described the other one this way. This one's actually called Access Maintenance Panels. But the other one I was imagining, it's like there's a rod or something that shifts the gun, and she's strong and is like bending it back in place. This one, she's actually getting into the guts of the ship a little bit. So this one is, I'm going to use athletics again. I choose an allied crew member in an engineer or science officer role who has not taken a crew action this round, and I attempt a skill check against my ship's DC. If I succeed, the engineer or science officer can roll their next skill check twice and take the better of the two rolls.
Nice.
Also, I can spend a resolve point and grant this bonus to a second allied crew member who's in any different role.
Oh,
so
shit.
if I succeed at this, I'll give basically advantage from that other game system to Gil, and I'm going to give it to Sayun the gunner.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Okay, that's a 22
That's a
against
success
my ship's
for sure.
DC.
Definitely a success.
Okay, and I'm gonna spin the resolve. So Raya gets in there. She's like, I know I'm not an engineer. It probably looks weird that I'm doing this, but I figured something out. And is just arms deep inside the wall of the ship, just moving stuff around. It's like, just trust me.
And then you're going to spend the resolve, right?
Yes, I am.
Right. Okay. Love it. All right. So I want to pause the action here for a second and talk about threshold, because I'm trying to understand how to read this. All right. So you're good. All your shit worked, Heath. That's good.
Okay. Cool.
What it says for threshold is that this is the number of skill checks that the PCs must succeed at to deal a hit. So, does that mean for every hit you have to hit a
There's
threshold?
no way.
It would be impossible to make those hits.
If you've got to get
No,
two
so
to
for
get
every
one
two
hit every time.
successes, you get one hit.
I mean, in most of the actions, it says you gain one skill check success toward the ship's threshold. So I mean, that's
Well, some of them, so most of your actions do, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's a regular shot. A regular shot. Fire at
no.
will.
So you don't have to. You as a person get two successes. The group, for every two successes the group gets, then you get a hit. Says this is the number of skill checks that the PCs as a group must succeed at to deal a hit. So I'm reading that for every two successes that you as a crew, total crew, have, you get a hit.
okay.
Okay.
Because the
Wait,
threshold is 2.
now I'm confused. If we get 2,
That's
that we
one.
beat the threshold, and it gives us a success as a hit.
Right. You have to get, the threshold is representing the shields, and you have to hit that threshold to get a hit.
Yeah.
And you have to.
So when we did 4 from that awesome turn from Sayun, that was
Should have been
2
should have been two hits.
hits.
Should have been 2 hits. Yeah.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And that tracks to me, given how low the hit point pool is, right?
Yeah, I was just confused because I thought you were saying the threshold is 2
Per person.
permanently,
No.
and it's okay, you do 2 threshold hits, now you can get a hit, but to get another hit, you got to get another 2.
Okay.
And
No, that
it
makes more
essentially
sense.
works that way, but it's kind of automatic. It's
Right.
if you get 2 threshold hits, boom, that's a ship hit.
Right. So that's where I think that's where we're going to land on it for now. Listeners,
Okay.
if you know better, let us know. But I think
we are but sweet summer children.
all right. We're going to still leave it at 4-1 though on the deal, because I don't want to go back and retrofit all that. All right. So now it will be Subana's turn.
So in this case, she's going to take a little bit more of a defensive role with this, and she's going to work on improving countermeasures.
Okay.
So that's also going to be a physical science check. And I'll go ahead and roll it now.
yeah,
before I
did Gil
into
get a
it.
chance to go yet?
No, we'll get to him next.
Okay.
Yep. I hadn't forgot about our little buddy.
I don't know.
Okay, so that is
for
gonna
a
be
second.
Improved countermeasures got a 16.
Does-
and it's an
does
attempt to skill check
Subana-
against our own ship's DC.
Does Subana get a reroll as well because you spent the resolve?
No, I picked Sayun.
Right, so you and Gil. Yeah.
I think you can only do engineer or science officer.
It says by spending 1 resolve point, you can grant this bonus to a second allied crew member, though they must be in a different role. It doesn't say specifically that role.
I know, but in the main effect it says choose an allied crew member in an engineering or science officer role.
Oh.
Yeah, so like specifically would be the other.
Oh, okay. So that fucking sucks.
It's okay. I mean,
that's a resolve in the garbage.
No, because Subana now gets advantage.
yeah.
Okay.
As science officer.
Yeah.
Gil
Yes.
is engineer.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Subana is a science officer.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I thought I don't know. I was thinking you were like magic officer.
No. It hasn't come to that point. So yeah, basically,
Although
attempt to-
you don't need to reroll because the 16 is a success against your standard DC, but you would have had that ability, right?
Well, wouldn't you want to re-roll anyway, just in case you beat it by a 5 or more or something?
Well, this one doesn't have
Oh,
a
it doesn't
5 or
have it.
more.
Okay, well,
yeah.
what a bit.
Yeah, it's worth
there's not
pointing
one
it
in the
all
resolve
out.
point.
Yep. Okay, so you succeed. So now it's going to be a hard DC against any enemy tactics, right? And the next round, and then are you going to spend the resolve point?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And what that does is an allied crew member in the engineer role can attempt a patch haul action immediately for free at a -2 penalty. This doesn't count as the engineer's action for this round, and they can attempt it even if they have taken their action this round, but they can't spend a resolve point on the action if they are successful.
That's
Okay,
really
okay.
good.
That's great.
awesome.
That's
Yes.
great. So let's go ahead and get that patch hole for free,
Alright.
and then
Yep.
you can tell me what you're going to do outside of that.
Okay, so I'm gonna quickly move over. One hand is going over to the little nanobots, seeing what they're doing. That's a 18 for a total of 23 for the patch hole.
Okay. So that's good. So you're now down to 0 hits on your
Oh
hull,
man, yeah.
and then you still have your action.
With my other hand, move over to the ship systems, the power management and everything, and I'm scrolling bars, moving power, and I'm gonna overpower the systems and direct power to the guns because I don't like this anymore, and I want them to be dead. So that's a computer's check with advantage.
Okay.
Here we go. The first roll is pretty good. It's 18 for a 23.
Okay.
Does that beat it by
That
5
is-
or more?
It doesn't.
Well, that's
Wait,
a good reason.
It does. It does. It
Oh,
does.
well.
It does. Yes.
Don't need to roll again. But I will. Second one was a 20. Not that it matters.
Yeah, it's something that we didn't point out that I would like to point out that was brought up in the little chat here is that in Starship Combat you receive additional resolve points. The same is true for narrative Starship Combat. Oh, it's not until 8th level that you get those bonus ones. Okay, so yeah, in 3 years we'll get to that. Okay.
Can't wait.
Okay. So that was a success. All right.
So choose an
And-
enemy starship, and so
There's
I
only
get.
one.
Yep. It did it by 5 or more, so it counts as 2 successes on the threshold. So that's a hit.
Perfect. So that's a hit. All right, and now we go to the gunner.
Okay. Am I rolling with any bonuses here?
Nope.
All right. Seiyun is just ready to finish this. He just focuses up. I'm not going to narratively describe shit if I'm going to miss. That's my
Right,
problem.
Right.
narrative.
Roll first, and then
Yeah, I want to
describe
roll
it.
first.
There you go.
Yeah.
19.
That is a hit.
Yes.
Is that a fatal hit?
Yeah, it would be. Yep, it would be the kill and blow, dude.
Okay, well then, Seiyun, like I said, he's locking in. He's bearing down. He's white knuckled on the on the sticks. I guess I don't know what
Okay.
Yeah, he's going all 4.
whatever mechanism you use to aim the gun. Seiyun bears down on it, and he just inhales, holds his breath, and fires, and sees that it's a hit, sees that it's a fatal hit, and he just relaxes and goes, done.
Yeah. And over your comms, you hear, "Well, that was that. Fucking Aslanti. God, they really stick in my craw. We'll see you on your ship in about an hour and a half. How's that sound? We'll give you guys time to get ready. We expect some dinner. Be nice. And we'll see you.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you, Aslanti.
Get you some powdered granola.
Our predecessors fucked y'all up. Think we won't do it again. Come from a long line of not giving a fuck.
Thanks for listening to the STF Network. If you want to hear more from us, check out our other Starfinder and Pathfinder shows at the stfnetwork.com. That's the stfnetwork.com. And support us on Patreon to listen to our bonus podcast, including our homebrew adventures and Tom Talks, our behind-the-scenes show. Stay groovy, possums.